Hey guys, Jason here. We are on the patio and we're going to play some acoustic today. Or actually it's almost nighttime, so I better hurry up and film this so I can get this to you guys. Real quick, I have all of my electric guitars in the shop right now, and they're actually being restrung and being like reset up and all that stuff, you know, professionally set up, because I really suck at that. All my guitars have, like, you know, a Floyd Rose or some type of floating tremolo. So I know you guys are thinking I'm crazy. I'm like, why are you gonna put all your guitars in there at one time? And I just wanted to get out of the way. This place is like way across town, but it's phenomenal. So I will be doing a video showing you guys, you know, my guitars when I get them back, which will hopefully be like tomorrow or the next day. Anyway, so today's video, I wanted to share just some really cool acoustic chords. And I have expressed to you guys the importance before of, you know, every now and then practicing even your metal riffs or your leads or whatever, you know, on acoustic. Now, I'm not going to show you any metal riffs, and I'm not going to go over any lead guitar tactics today on this video. What I am going to show you though is some killer open string chords, and this is this type of stuff I play a lot. So I'm gonna play this riff for you real quick, or this structure here, and I think it's 4 different types of chords I'm gonna show you, so once I play it I'll remember it. So here we go. So those are the chords, and I hope you guys can hear me okay. You might hear some birds in the background. There's a lot of cool birds out here flying around. I don't have my mic with me, so I figured I'd just kind of make this like raw and unedited, you know, that sort of thing. I should have did this live. Maybe next time I'll do it live. Anyway, so I'm gonna start with the first chord here, guys. I don't have any tablature to give you guys tonight, but this will be real easy for you to follow along. And trust me, when you learn these chords, if you don't already know them, and you start, you know, you pick up your acoustic and start playing them on the patio or just wherever, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna sound cool, especially if you're new to these types of chords. I'm sure there's like a fancy word for these types of chords. I just call them open string chords because there's a lot of strings that are open. All right, so here's the first chord of that progression, and it's an E chord. It's just a different and kind of like a much cooler way to play an E. And I'm gonna play it, and I'm just gonna tell you the frets as we go here. So we're strumming all strings, all 6 strings, and that first note is open. And then I'm just going to call out the frets, you know, for the next few strings here. So then you're on fret number 7 on the A string. Then the next 2 strings are the 9th fret. So it's almost like a power chord. What is a power chord? And then every string thereafter, the G, B, and E string are open. So I'm sorry, the B and E string. The open strings are the first E string, and then your last 2 strings, not last 3, your last 2 strings, the B and the E. So it's basically, if you're like looking at tablature, it would be like 0, 7, 9, 9, 0, 0. So that's your cool new way to play E chord sound. Now this next chord I'm going to show you is extremely interesting. We're going to just go like a half step up, and it's going to give you this sound like this. You guys have probably heard that, you know, that little progression there in many songs, especially a lot of like 80s rock songs and stuff like that. Maybe some of the hair band songs. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but you guys can tell me in the comments, you know, as you think of any song that has that kind of riff. A lot of songs have that. Anyway, so I'm gonna show you the open note way to play that. So again, we're gonna be hitting all strings. That first string is gonna be open again with this. Actually, that's one of the things that's consistent throughout, and I should have told you guys this in the beginning. That first, and then your B and E strings, those are gonna be open throughout this entire progression here. So after we go here, you know, if you go back to that E I just showed you, what we're going to do is we're going to move that first finger from fret number 7 to fret number 6. And then we're going to switch those other 2 fingers just a little bit here. We're going to keep the 7th fret, I'm sorry, the 9th fret on that D string, but I'm gonna move my pinky over and let it do that job, because the next string, which is our G string, we're gonna be hitting the 8th fret. So let me just call this out so it's kind of easier to follow here. It's gonna be 0, 6, 9, 8, 0, 0. So just get your fingers into that configuration there. That to me just sounds so cool, and I remember the first time I learned that, which was long ago. I'm like, wow, that's cool. I want to play more of that. So what I want you to practice right now, really, because the next chord I'm going to show you, the next 2 chords are fairly easy for the most part, but this is probably going to be the most challenging part of this little progression that we're playing. So practice going back and forth from that E to that next chord. And again, I'm going to kind of go back here. Those 2 strings that are initially, when you're playing that first E, those 2 strings where you've got your last 2 fingers on the 9th fret. Once you move that first finger up 1 fret, I switch these fingers around. So I switch my pinky from the G string on the 9th fret over to where that 3rd finger is on the 9th fret on the D string. So that allows me to have, don't mean to be flipping you guys off here, so that I'm trying to like make this finger go up. So that allows me to have that 3rd finger free so that I can move it over to the 8th fret on that G string and get that. Sorry if I sound weird, man. You know, you guys know I live like in the Tampa area, and the pollen is ridiculous. I was like practicing vocals today in the car, and I sounded horrible. I'm like, crap, I can't hit any notes at all. So yeah, this stuff is bad. I take a teaspoon of like raw natural honey a day and do some things to combat this stuff. Not a sickness or anything, it's just like this whole pollen season just kind of throws your voice and you get real congested, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you guys don't want to hear about that. So the next chord, our 3rd chord here, we're gonna go up to like a C sharp minor. And remember the configuration of your fingers when we played that E. So all you're really doing here is just taking that same configuration and then just moving it up to where that C sharp minor will be played. And again, you can hit that first string on all these notes, on all these chords, because it just gives it that full sound. Remember that E and then the B, E, those stay open the whole time. So our frets are, if you're looking at the tab, it would say 0, 4, 6, 6, 0, 0. Now that is a cool sounding chord as well. And before I give you that last chord that we're going to play, which is going to be an A, there's just kind of like a cool way to play that I'm going to show you. But this chord, just play around with this a little bit, because you can do some cool stuff. Like if you want to not leave that B string open, you could hit that natural note with your middle finger there, which is the 5th fret. And instead of this, it would sound like this. You're kind of getting like the same, you know, as that 5th fret, which is the same as your E string, you know, but it just kind of sounds cool. And with that middle finger being in there, there's just kind of a neat place to go into like a lead. I'm just like messing around, playing whatever now. So that last chord I want to show you is really going to be like an open A. So again, the same concept, you know, this whole thing, E's open, B, E's open, and your normal A, which I think you call that like an A suspended 2 or whatever, because you're leaving off that one note. You're leaving off that last, that B string note, 2nd fret, that you would normally play when you play an A. That just sounds way too happy and country, so we take that note off and leave that string open. But before I go to that A, I suck with the technical terms of all these chords. Like I learned all this stuff, 25 years ago, but I never went back to learning, any additional chords or theory. I just kind of, whatever I play is, if it sounded cool, I played it, So anyway, what I do before I hit that A note, so all I'm doing here, and I'll just call out the notes. Now this, I told you can hit the E string all throughout this progression. You can still hit it on that chord, but if you want to skip that and just start with the A string, that's fine too. So I'm going to start with the A string. That one's open. Then you're going to go 2, then 4, and then those last 2 are open. So really your notes you're hitting are 2 and 4. You're hitting frets here on the D and the G string. 2, 4. Now what I do after that is I take that pinky off the 4th fret there and I change my finger configuration a little bit so that I'm hitting 0, 2, 2. Cool, so let's run through that real slow one last time here and try to follow along if you guys can. Okay, so we're starting with the E. And mess around with that progression. Like if you want to finger pick, when I play acoustic a lot of times I'll just finger, I'm trying to find a place to put my pick, but I didn't bring a table out here. Sometimes I'll just finger pick. I'll use the classical style with your thumb using, for the first 3 strings, and then your last 3 fingers for the other strings there. And I don't always play it correctly. I just kind of wing it, So you can play around, where'd my pick go? You can play around with the different methods, different strumming patterns. If you want to play this and then, maybe teach your buddy and then you can play some cool leads along with it, something like that. But just mess around with those patterns, those open chords. And then, just try some new stuff, you know what I mean? One chord that kind of fits in that progression that I did not show you was if you played a B and you would just do that. And again, I didn't put it in that progression, but you can throw it in there. You'd play that here. And that's 0, 2, 4, 4, then 0, 0. So you could go all the way down. Then back to that country sounding happy E chord there, ending on that. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, guys, please leave those in the comments. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video because it's starting to get dark. I don't think you guys can tell on the video because I'm looking at the camera, it looks kind of bright, but I'm looking out here and I'm like, dude, it's getting dark. Darkness imprisoning me. Metallica lyrics. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and guys, I really appreciate all your support. Until the next video, keep it metal. Oh, and I can't wait to get my electric guitars back. As soon as I get them, I'm gonna make a video for you guys. All right, guys, keep it metal.